Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today I'm just going to take you through a bit more of my Emperor's Children project, because stuff has been happening. I've been doing a little bit more, I've been painting models here and there, I've been assembling other ones. The project has increased in scale somewhat, because I've repainted my knights. My Imperial Knight was converted to Chaos, and my Chaos Knight was repainted to be less Iron Warrior-ish and more Emperor's Children-ish. I'll put pictures of those in the video as opposed to sticking them in front of the screen here, because they're a bit big and chunky and you won't be able to really see them all that well. But there are other things happening. So I've been painting a few things, I've been updating a few things, completing a few things. In terms of the knights, we also have the War Dogs, which I'm working on currently, which I know will trigger many of you. So that's one of the War Dogs, and as you can see, I've made it so that it is not symmetrical. I wanted the gun on one side, like the autocannons on one side, and the other guns on the other side, so that's what I did. I did put a picture of this on the community tab, and a lot of people were not happy. But there you go. I just like doing stuff like that. I mean, one of the knights has got 2 claws instead of 1 arm, so really shouldn't be all that surprised. So there's that one. That's kind of the least far along out of the 2 War Dogs so far. The other one is a little bit delicate because I've not actually done the spikes properly yet. So again, a similar situation. The guns do move on both. So yeah, I've got he's got some Skaven spears sticking out the carapace there, which aren't glued because otherwise it'd be a pain to paint the carapace. So they are going to be attached after the fact. And I'm going to mess up the face with a bit more of this green cabling. I got a green stuff roller from Green Stuff World, and it's really, really handy for making cool cables and stuff. So yeah, I've got the 2 War Dogs as well, and the 3rd Chaos Knight. So I'll have 3 knights and 2 of those, and then I'll probably get another knight as well because I want one. Well, the other knight is a little bit silly. So as you can see, not a huge amount of this knight just yet. The head is not going to be attached, it's going to be facing a particular direction, so I want the head to be like tilted all the way round. The way I'm going to achieve that is I've got some old guitar strings that I'm going to use, and I've got some wire, so I'm going to drill some tiny holes in the back there, and I'm going to do some holes in the back there. I'm going to then bend the head so that it's like unnaturally far round, like an elongated neck kind of style to it, so that it's looking almost fully to the side. Then I'm going to use a bunch of green stuff to make green stuff cables to hide all of that, and probably a bit of plasticard as well to extend that section of armour over the head. And it needs to be looking that way. It needs to be looking that way because of the gun that it's holding. She's holding. It's the head of the house. House Voltis is the name of my my very chaosy knight house, and she needs to be looking that way because that's the gun that this knight is going to have. So yeah, that's the Vulcan Mega Bolter from a Chaos Warhound, and what I've done is I've filled the socket with a bunch of green stuff cabling and some spare cabling from a Leviathan Dreadnought, a few bits here and there. I'm going to put some more of this kind of thing in there too, and then do more cabling kind of linking out and kind of into the gun in certain places. But I'm going to do that after I've painted it, because otherwise I won't be able to get the kind of finish that I want on the actual gun itself. And that is held by the hand there, and it slots into that gun section there. It's not like the pose is nowhere near finished, and both of these are movable so that I can get the pose that I want. And yeah, so it'll be holding it like a massive Gatling cannon. Now the reason I wanted to do that is, I mean, I like the look of that kind of thing, and also I really wanted to really round out the collection of like stuff holding weapons in that way. So yeah, don't worry, this is like it's super flexible and everything still, because I haven't glued anything. I wanted to make sure that it was super posable, but that I knew exactly like where I was going to finally place it, because it will have to be glued in place. It won't work otherwise, because this is a massive block of resin. It is super heavy, so there's no way that the pose would stick if I don't glue the arms in place. But leaving it all free means I can mess about with it before I decide on a final structure for the pose. Always dry fit first, always. And yeah, the reason I wanted to do that is because I have this guy, which you might remember from a previous video, and I have this guy, who you will also remember from a previous video, and I have that guy, who you'll remember from a previous video. So, what I wanted to do was create a massive version of that pose. So, the one I did first was this, which is going to be repainted in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I just wanted something daft, like it was a dreadnought holding a massive Gatling gun, which is exactly what I did. And I thought that was funny, and I liked it, so I wanted to replicate that with something else. And that was with a Redemptor, using the Avenger Gatling cannon from an Imperial Knight. And I also don't like the way Centurions look normally, so I wanted to convert some so that they looked a little different. So that's where this guy came from. And I've got two others of these. This is part of my Purge the Pitfalls, which was like a really fun little narrative tournament that was done last year, which I really, really liked. They did well. Funnily enough, like 6 heavy bolters and 3 onslaught Gatling cannons and storm bolters makes for a lot of firepower. You'd never have guessed, would you? So yeah, the whole reason I'm doing that night is because I wanted a large version of these 3, because of course a Redemptor isn't large enough when it comes to that silly idea. So yeah, a little bit of a tangent, but that's what that knight is. That is a Slaanesh knight, and it's got a Warhammer, a Vulcan Mega Bolter, because why not? Why not? Expensive conversion, though, bloody expensive. Not something I'm going to do regularly, that. God. Okay, so we currently have the Chosen are not present. The Chosen are currently gone. They are with Chris Frozen. He is painting them for me. We have with us currently, I sent off one of the Terminators as a colour reference, and then repainted my Terminators that I still had at home. Sorry, Chris. But it's fine. I kind of want the warband to look a little bit different depending on the unit. I was planning on doing something similar anyway, whereby different units had different primary colours, had like different blending and fade effects on them and stuff, and so I don't really care that they're going to look slightly different. They might have a different colour of pink or a different hue of purple. I'm not fussed, because it's just going to fit the whole riotous kind of look of these guys anyway. So yeah, these are the 4 Terminators I still have, which I am in the process of still painting. I've done quite a bit of work on these. I go back over certain areas, repeatedly, just trying to get the right balance on them. So at the moment, these 2 I'm totally happy with. I've got the colours exactly where I want on these guys, so they're going to be. I'm going to start working on the detail for them. So putting on the gold primarily, around the shoulder pad and the chains, and a couple of other places as well. There's going to be a lot of gold. They're going to be very bright, very brash, very shiny, to kind of offset this kind of purple, pink, kind of turquoise blend that's going on these guys. So yeah, I'm happy with where these 2 guys are at in terms of that colour combination. These 2, I'm still going back and forth a little bit. I'm mostly happy, but this could do with being just that bit brighter turquoise. Like it could do with just being brought up a little bit, so I need to go over him again. This is loads and loads of different layers. So this is layers of alternating layers of Adriatic blue from Scale 75 and ice yellow from Vallejo. Is it Vallejo? Yes, it is Vallejo. So that's how I'm building up the colour and the saturation of it. It's just repeated dry brushed layers over and over again to try and keep the blend between the purpley pink and the kind of bluey whitey turquoisey colours like nice and smooth, and not create a hard line, but just create like a soft line between the 2, which so far is working pretty well. It's taking a lot of different coats. He is pretty much there. I'm pretty happy with where he's at. I think I'm pretty much done with him. The only exception to that is just on the underside of the arm there. I want to bring it up a bit more there, but the rest of him, he's good. He's going to take a little bit more work, but he's mostly there. This one is the one that's going to take the most. That is proving to be a pain to do, just because I just keep losing some of the saturation on it, which is getting a bit frustrating. But the back of him, and that could do being brought up a bit, whereas that could be a little bit duller on the head. So it's a lot of experimentation, a lot of going back and forth, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there slowly. And then we've got this guy who is acting as another Terminator. Probably going to be classed as a Terminator Lord, actually. So this is, of course, Tor Garadon. Except it's not, because he's now a dirty, filthy traitor. I'm super happy with the colouring on this guy so far. I need to mess about with the arm more. That's just like a single dry brushed coat of... It's not Rakarth flesh, it's one of the other ones. I forget, one of the super pale ones anyway. But that's going to have more of a kind of like reddy purpley hue. I'm going to try very carefully to just go over the veins and stuff and do a bit of wet blending, like just get a bit of just give it a bit of a wash kind of thing, just to flatten it out a little bit. The axe head is going to be gold, because of course it is. The Stormbolter is most likely going to be gold. I need to do the spikes gold, as well as the trim on the shoulder pad there, and that little bit on the underside there. And the skull, I'm thinking he's going to actually just be skull covered. I think that'd be enough. I think that'd be fine. So yeah, I'm not sure what to do for the flame. I feel like a green flame. I think a green flame would work well. His cloak is mostly done. I just need to do some lighter highlights across it, and then that'll be finished. But yeah, the colouring on this guy, like between the purpley pink and the kind of turquoisey bluey colour, that's pretty much exactly how I want it. I don't think there's anything I need to change on this one. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the helmet yet. Undecided on that. Undecided, but I'll work something out. Then, of course, he's got that nice white strip across the front. I want to get a bit of white on all of them somewhere. It's just working out where to do it, and I didn't want the cloaks to be white because I thought that would look a bit too pure. So yeah, pretty happy with where he is at. We have, of course, got the mad biker, which I have yet to tackle. I've yet to tackle this one. I do have a different head for him now, of course. Someone very kindly sent, Bees on Twitter sent me an awesome flaming skull. You guys were right, the normal skull was not big enough, but I do have a flaming skull to go in there now, which is pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to making a start on that. It's still ludicrous. I don't know what I was thinking when I made that. That kind of applies to a lot of this stuff, to be fair. Speaking of... In fact, no, we'll save it for the end. We'll save it for the end. You can just see a bit of, like, a little shadow of wing there. We'll save that for the end. A nice treat at the end. We've got the Obliterators, which I'm actually going to base coat probably today. Thinking about it, I might do that after I've eaten tonight. So we've got the Obliterators, which I've got the large kind of Chaos Crescent from the Chaos Vehicle Accessory sprue. Various generations of it, in fact. That's a much older one, I believe. That's a newer one. And that, you can tell from the colour of the plastic, is a real old one. In fact, yeah, these are the same. These are the same age, I believe. That one's just been base coated. At some point in its long life, it's been base coated. So yeah, I've got these three as well. They've got little things here and there. Got like las cannon and backpacks, little chaos backpacks for no reason other than why not. Nothing else about them looks remotely normal, but it's fine. Got a bit of Centurion leg armour on this guy. I need to try and dig out some more. Actually, I think I've still got a little bit, so I might use some more on these two before I start painting them. And there's a bit of Centurion shoulder pad there, and I'll be putting something similar on this one before he's primed too. Once they're painted, I'm going to be putting some gold chain wrapped around their torsos and legs. Just because I think it'd look cool. And that's pretty much the only reason to do that. So yeah, I've not made a huge amount of progress on these guys. I have tightened the... I've improved the join on a lot of the weapons. A lot of that is going to be hidden by jeweler's chain, just because it's easier than trying to sculpt like a weird fleshy thing onto it. Some of it just wouldn't work all that well, but that's going to be done after they're painted, because painting the chain is a pain in the arse when it's already on the model. So yeah, that's the Obliterators. And finally, the shadow of the wing revealed. I wanted to do another Demon Prince. Oh yeah. Oh, I totally forgot this Demon Prince. One of my kids flipping snapped the whip, which is fine. because I need to heat those fingers and wrap it round anyway, and I wanted to heat the whip so that it was like limp, but still kind of annoying. So this was the original Demon Prince that I made for the Emperor's Children, and yeah, I'm still super happy with that. I still like it a lot, but I wanted another one, and and my good friend Scarlett very kindly got me a Custodes Telemon Dreadnought, and I of course butchered it in the name of Slaanesh. So I've scraped off a bunch of the Aquila stuff. Just took a like a craft knife to those. Scratched out the centre, scratched out on the legs. Left most of the fancy stuff there, but did a bit of a dent in the side. The head is going to end up sprouting horns, but again, that's going to be something that I do after painting it. Weird though that sounds, because otherwise I won't be able to get the right kind of blend. I want to get a similar kind of effect on this head as I've got on this helmet, and I can't do that if there's random crap sticking out of it. So that's going to wait until afterwards. I'm just going to be very careful with how I drill. And these are the wings from a Tyranid Hive Tyrant, which I attached into the vents of the backpack, and then I used liquid green stuff to kind of smooth and grow the wings into it. So there's like a weird texture off to the side and the top of those. You can still just about see them, but there's like a stretched skin thing going on around there, and kind of on the inside there. I have got one arm for this guy, but I need to decide what to do for the other arm, and I wasn't going to put the arms on before painting, again because they would just get in the way, but I have one arm which is using the arm from a Demon Prince, and again that's been attached to the actual normal socket of the Telemon Dreadnought arm, and liquid green stuff has been used to kind of just gunge it up and make the join a bit better. It needs a second layer just around that seam there, but once that's done, it's done, and he'll have a appropriately sized massive sword, and we need to work out what to do with that. Now I do have the missile launcher as well. I'm in two minds as to whether to put it on or whether to stick a demonette on his head, because that could look cool. I do have the missile launcher, and I have put a chaos symbol on it, so it could sit up there. It's just whether I want to do that or not. I'm undecided right now. It would look a bit weird with a full gap, but yeah, we'll see. The basic idea behind this dreadnought was literally that someone was about to ascend to Demon Princehood and went, find me the fanciest suit of armour you can, I want to defile it. And as a result, this happened. So yeah, this is something I'm going to start painting soon, and I'll record the first bit of painting it, just laying down the base colours, getting a kind of similar colour scheme to this, kind of shown over a larger surface, and we'll do something funky with the wings as well at that point, which actually will be nice and easy to paint with the way I paint wings now, attached to this, because I can either hold it there and it'll be nice and stable all the way across, or I can hold it like just by the body, or I can just hold it flat against the table and still do it. So at first I was like, oh, I attached the wings way too early, but I don't think I did. I think it'll be fine. So yeah, that is currently where things are. As I say, the Chosen are away being painted, so I don't have those currently. My Typhon is getting there. I'd prefer to wait until that's finished to show it off now, because I'm really happy with how that's come along, and I want to get some decent shots of it. This isn't going to do. So yeah, once I've got the Knights, the Demon Princes, and the Terminators and Obliterators painted, I'm not making any more models for them until I've done that. I'm going to make some Possessed, and I'm going to take the standard Chaos kit probably, or I might take the Custodes Guardian kit. Not sure which currently. I'll decide closer to the time, and mix it with the snake women from I forget the name. The crazy blood elves. Marathi's lot. There's a start collecting for them now, which I believe has that unit in there, which I'm gonna nab so that I can use the bottom half of the snake women for the possessed. I'm probably going to use the actual elves as demonettes, because that could be fun, and the massive carriage of blood, or whatever it's called, that will end up being torn apart, and bits of it will go on the knights to make them look a bit more mental. So looking forward to that. But I'm going to paint these first. That is what I've set myself the job of doing, and I will do that because I do not want to end up with too much unpainted grey plastic. I've got quite a bit of it, I don't want to add. So yeah, that's where I currently am. There has been some progress made, there's been stuff shifted around, the force has grown in a weird direction with the repainting of the Chaos Knights. But yeah, getting there slowly but surely. I never said this was going to be a quick project, in fairness. It's just as well really, because it hasn't been, has it? Thank you very much for watching. I hope that's given you some sort of flash of either inspiration or just answer the question of what's happening with it. And yeah, happy hobbying. Enjoy your weekend. There'll be videos coming out Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to click all the things. And there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games. You know how it works. If you buy something through it, I get something for sending you that way. You save money on what you would have spent. And yeah, it's just a nice way to support the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.